Hello and welcome to another weekly update. It's been a kind of a chaotic, hectic week over here. No particular reason, I think, just a combination of lots of small things, a couple of days away, and then we've had some kind of illness happening here, which, touch wood, fingers crossed, hasn't affected me, but it's had that kind of knock-on effect of, lots of things happening and lots going on. Doesn't mean there isn't lots to talk about, there always is, so let's get into it. And it's an interesting one this week because there's not so much real sort of news coming out of the platform development team this week. Don't forget, Inspire starts kind of today, tomorrow, into next week, so that will take the focus for a lot of folks. Prepping sessions for Inspire, setting up the meetings, travelling and things like that, so that's probably the reason for that. Microsoft sometimes like to make announcements around big events. I'm not sure Inspire kind of counts for that, but we'll see. There is a blog post actually I'm going to refer to in a minute, which I think has come out just ahead of Inspire, which we can talk through. But it's good actually because it gives me a chance to talk about a couple of other things that are happening in that bigger Microsoft space that you should be maybe keeping an eye on and just being aware of. Let's come on to that in a minute though. So I spoke about this last week. This week was the week I spoke at the Evolve conference on tour at the Microsoft Reactor London. The reason for bringing this up again, first of all, to tell you that it was a good conference. If you weren't there, you missed it and you missed out. That's a shame. But good news for you guys, because it's at the Microsoft Reactor, they have a really good setup for recording and streaming. And it's all kind of built into the walls, like video cameras, kind of mounted to the ceilings. It's all set up perfectly, no adjustments needed. And what it means is they can do live streaming to YouTube. So all the sessions from the 2 days of the conference are on YouTube, which is really cool. So what that means is, if you weren't there for my talk around building applications in Microsoft Teams on the Teams development platform, some tips and tricks, and all the rest of it, then actually you can go and watch it on YouTube now. So that is the first link I want to tell you about. So a blog post I did yesterday, linking to that YouTube recording. It's not on my channel, so don't go to thoughtstuff.co.uk/videos and expect to find it there, because it was live streamed by the Reactor people. It's on their channel, so you're gonna have to go to the blog post and I've embedded it in there so you can go and watch it there. And actually you can bounce off from that one video, you can then bounce off to all the other videos in the conference. So that was really cool to see. It's a first for me to be able to tell you guys about a talk that you weren't able to attend and give you somewhere where you can go and watch it. I'm excited by that. I'm excited to see your feedback. Is this a good idea? Like, do you like the idea of being able to do this? Should I try and record more talks? I did actually try and record this one myself before I realised that Reactor were going to do all this anyway. I did try and record it, and I haven't really reviewed the footage of that recording, but that might be a good option going forward for other talks. So let me know what you think. Okay, what else? So the blog post I talked about coming up just before Inspire, put out by the Teams team, that's the second thing I want to tell you about. So again, link to it below. Some good high-level stats, and we don't often get daily updates on usage and stuff around the Microsoft platform and where users are. So when we do get published stats, it's kind of interesting to dig into. So real huge. So 13 million plus daily active users on Microsoft Teams. Now that's a huge number. It really is. It's an astonishing number. So that's come from a zero in around 2016, beginning of 2017, and it's a real hockey curve up to over 13 million. So to give you a sense of comparison, so that's daily active users. Give you a sense of comparison. So Slack currently, based on the latest published figures, which was September 2018, is at 10 million. So take what you can. Like, it's very hard. Like I say, companies don't publish this stuff all the time, so you have to take the data points when you get them. It's hard to know. It's hard to know. I'm looking at this blog post. you can see the graph, you can go and look at it yourself. But it's a very kind of positive, it's a positive trend for Teams. I don't know if it's doing better or not better than Slack. It kind of doesn't matter. I think that's an interesting argument to have, but it's kind of a bit meaningless. What's really interesting though is how many people are being positively affected by Microsoft Teams and this new kind of way of working, this kind of working out loud and this kind of evolution. So I think that's really interesting. The rest of the blog post actually goes through some really interesting other things that are worth. The reason they're worth digging into is this is going to Inspire, which is Microsoft's partner conference. So it is, what are the things Microsoft thinks are top of mind for Teams? So we've got time-sensitive communication, so priority notifications. We've got things like cross-channel posting, a whole section on first-line workers, so that's kind of interesting. All the kind of shift stuff and all that stuff kind of for those kind of frontline, first-line workers. Ease of deployment as well for IT administrators, so making it easier to deploy Teams. And some interesting partner solutions as well. So talking about the different ways in which partners can kind of build on Teams. So that's contact centers, call recording has come in for the first time. There's a whole post about that I'm going to talk about in a second. Workforce management and a thing called partner-led Teams trials. So that's an interesting way for companies who aren't yet using Teams to get in and get a 6-month trial. So worth just kind of skimming. It's not at all technical, but it's the kind of businessy positioning of where Teams is inside Microsoft now, and what the Teams team think are important. Okay, so I'm running on a bit, blabbering on. So let's try and bring it back. Very quickly, post from Mary Jo Foley around the passwordless sign-in option on Windows 10. So that's kind of interesting. So expect this to be rolling out and becoming the norm, I would say, fairly quickly, certainly among kind of forward-facing organizations. So it's going to be interesting, passwordless login. It's worth reading through to fully understand it. Again, it's not a developer thing, but we are expected to understand this world and understand all these things, and people will ask you, does your application support this thing? So can you build it into your existing application? So it is worth figuring out, how this stuff works. There's a public preview of the support for it in Azure AD. So yes, you can build it in and do all that sort of stuff. So worth understanding. It's it would be a whole entire podcast by itself to dig into security, which I'm not going to go there. So yeah, it's just worth understanding. And then finally, I said about certified compliance call recording being on the radar. So my colleague, Tom Arbuthnot at tomtalks.blog has done a whole blog post about this because it's kind of fairly large news in the IT pro space. The ability to bring certified call recording to Microsoft Teams is a huge ask. So it's interesting to see. So Tom's gone into a lot of detail on his thoughts as well about all of that. So if that's interesting, again, it's not specifically Devi, but I know this is a thing that people are asking for and that comes up. And if you're a developer thinking, should I build a call compliance recording solution in Teams? This is probably a blog post you want to read. All right, everything for me, I think, for this week. Go and have a lovely weekend, relax and recharge. If you are going to Inspire, buckle up. I think it's going to be a busy one. Try not to get ill. Try not to overwork yourself. Wear comfortable shoes and enjoy. And everyone else, wear comfortable shoes and enjoy. And have a great week. And I will speak to you again next time.